I go to Iconess Cheeseburger and that's it. Can
Well,
pretty much have
that's as
same
good a
old.
way as any to start the show off. So anyway, guys, now that you know that Solon loves I Can't Has Cheeseburger, um, yeah, we're gonna be talking about the feature pack because there's obviously some of the biggest
Pretty
news.
much have
That's as
same
good
old.
a way as any to start the show. Oh man, I've got my Twitch on. I'm getting double feeds. It's awful. It's gonna be a good night. Anyway, we're gonna talk about the feature pack. And just a little bit of a warning: my dogs are right there in the background behind me, and my wife isn't home yet. So when she gets home, they're gonna go ballistic. But stay tuned, and we'll have a good night, I think. Alright, hello everyone. I know she says her mic is off, but you all know that it's not, because you could hear it, and so could I. But anyway, welcome to episode number 92 of the Chronicles of Tyria podcast, a Guild Wars 2 podcast for fans, by fans. It's episode number 92, folks. We are 8 away from the big 100. So, hang in there. We're going to do something special. I got about 8 weeks to think of something, so it'll be a good time. I am joined once again by the lovely Saune, so welcome.
Howdy!
And other than having an awkward start to the show, how are you doing?
I need a bloody light for when you start streaming, because this is what, the third time I've done something like that between one of our shows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't have like an on-air. You know what I could do is I could just hook up another webcam so you can actually see me. Like, you know, I'll put another webcam next to the webcam that I use for streaming, and then I'll use that in Skype so that you can see me, and then I can maybe just give you like a sign and be like, just don't do that. But that's neither here nor there.
Son, shh. No
Yeah.
talking now.
But anyway, if you are listening to us via iTunes, which I'm sorry because I'm a little bit behind on uploading iTunes, that stream shutting down halfway through last week really screwed me up because I have to figure out if I want to upload 2 separate things to iTunes, like an episode 91 part 1 and part 2, or one's like 40 minutes and one's like 20 minutes, or do I want to actually take the effort to go into an audio editing software and combine the 2 files, which to be honest, I really don't want to do that. So, I guess we'll see. But yeah, I don't actually have a meme for this week. I was busy with work and things. But instead, I have a random fact for all of you. Did you know that to make peanut butter, you can make peanut butter with nothing but peanuts and no other additives? Just peanuts in a food processor can make peanut butter? I did not know that, but I found that out today. The more you know.
So you don't have to eat all that sugar and crap.
I mean, it may not be the best tasting, but we had a long debate about this at work yesterday. And then we went to one of the local supermarkets where they do all sorts of crazy fresh food, and they had grinders, and they just put peanuts in it, and they just keep grinding it, and then peanut butter comes out. No additives. I mean, you can also look it up on YouTube and watch videos of that. It's a lot of refinement in a food processor, but that's not what this show about. This show is about Guild Wars 2. So we're going to move on. No question of the week from last week either, but we do have some mail that we received. And we got one message from Matt G via hosts at chroniclesoteria.com. No, Alec sorry to jump back and forth. No, it was not Whole Foods, it was Fairway Market, but it's a similar thing. Matt G said that we should name our Let's Lore crew. You guys should go by the Welcome Back CoTers. And I feel like I'm dating myself here, but I'm imagining that a lot of the younger audience doesn't get that joke. Because Welcome Back Kotter was a popular sitcom in like the 70s. So it's probably lost on a lot of you younger guys and gals. But to me, I think it's hilarious. But given the fact that I'm fairly certain a bunch of us will get it and it'll be hilarious, 90% of the people that watch this stuff will have no idea what we're talking about.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
That's why you didn't giggle when I said it. So that was my judge right there. So I love it. And if you get me your Matt G, if you get me your in-game information, I will send you something, because you're the only fan that has actually sent us an idea for what we should call our Let's Lore group. And before I continue on to the rest of the mail, we actually have a little bit of an update. We finally secured a 4th member for our revolving door of Let's Lore hosts. So, yeah, someone that you may be familiar with, and I'm sure most of you fans of CoT podcasts will know, or, and I keep forgetting, it's for MMORPG, I'll get to that in a second, Casey, the Wonder from Down Under. She's joining us on the Let's Lore now, so that's super exciting. And I actually have to get the information from her, but she's actually representing Chronicles of Tyria on a tri-force of podcasts between MMORPG.com and Sitting on a Couch. We also have a presence there. I feel awful because I don't know the timing of when that happens, and I don't know the frequency. But she is representing us there, so if I get the information, I will put it in the description of this video, and I will blast it out on all of our social media stuff. But I'll have to actually get a hold of her first. But yeah, so that's pretty neat. We're trying to keep our presence out in the world because, as I'm sure most of you know, if you've been watching Guild Wars podcasts or listening to Guild Wars podcasts over the past 2 to 3 years, a lot of stuff has fallen off. So that's sad when that happens.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Create your.
Oops, sorry about that, folks. Rune Lockhart just linked it there in the chat. That's the one I'm talking about. So thank you, sir or madam. I'm really bad about this. It's been a long day, guys. It's been a really long day. I've had an awful day, but I'm still here because that's how I roll. And Testerosity here in the chat. Yes, I'm well aware that some of us out there remember back before Welcome Back Kotter was on TV. And I personally am not one of those people. I totally get it. If I were to pull a Google Analytics on the age of people that watch this show, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, it'll be pretty skewed towards the 20-ish, like the 15 to 20-ish range, maybe 15 to 25, maybe even 15 to 30. But yeah, you know what? Thank you for coming out and watching us live, by the way. Everybody that's here in the chat, all 13 of you. We super appreciate it. And just having, even if it's back and forth conversation about when color TV came into existence, or a la Cartolina for president, or who makes your peanut butter, we still enjoy it because it gives us something to play off of. And, you know, just to keep things, you know, dynamic and interesting. So thank you again to everybody here watching live. But back to all the other stuff that I just got distracted from. So
Again.
yeah, Michael Ramirez commented on at one of the episode 91, one of them since we had two, and this one just, you know, touched me right here, right in the heart. Lag, you're kicking ass, holding it together. Just wanted to let you know that the community is still behind you and loves you and what you're doing for us, and that. Thank you, sir. I greatly appreciate that. And while, you know, you did say thank you to me, I do want to point out that this isn't just me. There's a lot of people behind the scenes supporting me in both our guild front as well as on our websites and publishing and editing, and our fan fiction writers, and Saune, my apparently brand new co-host that I'm just got my hooks in to keep her from getting away, to help me with this every week.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not permanent yet, people, because I don't have a schedule.
Yeah,
so,
but that's okay.
But
she's here for now, and we're going to take advantage of all the live speed doodles while we can.
Yep.
And Testerosity, again, thank you for being an iTunes person and coming and checking us out live. And again, there's the potential in the future again for Saturday morning shows. I don't know if Son will be able to help with that, but I know coming up in the next few weeks, I'll be away for work on Thursday nights for like 2 weeks in a row. So those will probably get pushed to Saturday just so I can keep putting stuff out to you guys. And in the future,
I will be super groggy, but I could do it for COT. I would do it.
And there'll be a couple probably from hotel rooms. Got some conventions and things I'm going to, so that doesn't stop me. So we'll be live from the Philadelphia Convention Center in Oaks, Pennsylvania for too many games, and I'm getting distracted again. And thank you again, everybody. A lot of people are voting Ala Cartolina for president. Perkysaurus says she has my axe, and Rune Lockhart is Michael Ramirez. I knew there was a connection between somebody that watches the show, and I couldn't remember. So thank you. And we got a mini wall from Tori G. Not his typical, so we're just going to run through this. It was not Boonville, New York from the comment I made last time. It was Boonville, Missouri, I think is M.O. Lag, it's like Guild Wars 1. All town clothes head skins are being added into wardrobe skins. Can be applied with armor, transmute charges, hat, glasses, etc. The bandana you get in Iron Marches, wink wink. New category outfits. Full undyeable costumes that can be worn over armor in combat, like GW1, aka Mad King, Winter's Day Cooks, and outfits respect the show/hide functionality of headpiece. Tonics would be those town clothes sets like riding outfit, vests, hoodies, and all that have been defined. And not all have been defined. Tonics are set specific, not piece specific. Toys become unlimited consumables, such as the box of chocolates from Valentine's Day. So yes, and again, we will obviously be touching on all aspects of the feature pack, because this is one of the biggest quality of life and most awesome things that has happened in Guild Wars 2 in quite some time. I would say this probably rivals, in my personal mind, I would say the biggest patches that have come out in this game would be the addition of Guild. And there's my wife. The addition of guild missions to the game, the addition of the wallet, and now this one, and maybe Fractals of the Mists as a thing that was pretty big. But yeah, like I said, I shouldn't start going into that because we're gonna get there. And Kyrath Hawkeye, first chance I've had to catch your weekday episode live. No work tomorrow, so I get to, to lie in. And, well, thank you again, everybody who's coming out. Well, love watching those numbers tick up and the conversations that start in the chat. Comic, our webcomic, I'll link it here in the description. The final character has been revealed. So, it is our Char character. And I'm going to let Saune pronounce the name, because I don't really exactly know how we're supposed to pronounce it, so if it messes up, I'll blame it on her.
Gee, thanks. I've been calling him Dermot.
Okay, so that's kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
And again, here's another link. This is all 3 of the winners of our Design a Character Costume Contest compiled on one page. But what that means for you guys as fans of the comic, or if you haven't seen it, you can check out that and the couple of 6 comic strips that have been out so far, means next Wednesday, comics return. As in, not these character profile sheets, actual comics will be returning next week.
Yep.
Right? Okay, I don't want to commit to anything that...
It's half done. It's half done because I've been working, so I've been doing like half hour here and half hour there, but yeah.
Oh, and I might as well, you know what? I might as well unveil it too. We picked a name for the webcomic.
Oh yeah!
So our webcomic is not called the CoT webcomic, in case those of you were wondering. Our webcomic's official title is No Gathering Tool Equipped. That is the name of our webcomic. So I will be changing the stuff on the website to make it say, you know, No Gathering Tool Equipped, parentheses, comic. But yeah, so that's the name of our webcomic. So.
But I have to make some pretties for it.
Yeah, and we'll have some cool banners and possibly a logo and etc. But you know, again, I'm not gonna overcommit Saune to anything. She's been super busy
Leg
as it
keeps
is.
me super busy.
Yeah, I don't really let her out of her cage. Draw.
No.
Yeah. So, just a little bit of news before we jump on to the main topic of the feature patch. I'm just gonna link this here, because due to the updates that happened in PvP that we'll be discussing shortly, all of the people have got jumped up to rank 80, which means for the first time ever, dragon finishers have been revealed in the game. And if you missed Phoenix finishers, those are also unveiled. So I just linked, Dolphy has a gallery of every single PvP rank finisher. And I gotta say, I'm not too thrilled with Phoenix for the rank 70 to 79. Rank 80 is Dragon, which is pretty cool, but I still think for the longest time, I'm more of a fan of the Shark finisher over any of the other ones. But I don't know, Saune, have you seen them at all?
No. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well,
I'm such a good co-host.
Well, you do know that when you level, you know, the stomps that you can have, customizable stomps?
Yeah.
And you know that you get new ones each time you rank up in PvP?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I'm the Bunny of Doom!
Yeah, so when you hit rank 60, I believe, you get the Shark one, your Shark rank. Rank 70 is Phoenix rank, and rank 80 is Dragon rank, which previously was unseen until just at this patch, because anybody that was around rank 55-ish got jumped all the way up to 80 to compensate for them lowering the total number of rank points needed to get to 80 from 11.1 million to like 1.1 million or something like that. But you know what? Why don't I just throw this up on screen here, and we'll skip ahead.
Yeah, I'm looking at those stills, and that shark looks badass.
So, it's only a little 3-minute video, so we can just run through it for those of you who haven't seen. And it's funny, because I feel like some of them, for lower ranks, have like cooler effects. Like, you'll see when we get further up. Like, I like that it's got the deer hopping around the outside. And this is me right now, Dolyak. Here you go. Now, this is where some of them start to get a little lackluster, if you ask me. I mean, you do have 3 Wolf Moon on the Wolf rank, so that's kind of cool, but, I still like the effect of the deer and the Dolyak over this one. And this, I feel, is a huge disappointment when you hit rank 40. Why would a tiger be in the moon in the first place? Doesn't make any sense to me.
Isn't it kind of a Chinese thing?
I mean, I guess it's kind of on a plane, but it looks like it literally jumps out of the moon.
Oh, yeah.
And bear, I feel like this is the most upsetting to me, because it's like, rank 50, you know, you're more than halfway there at this point. And it's kind of lame. And here we go, the best one in my opinion. Shark runs everything. Right?
Yeah.
Isn't Shark badass?
Yeah, the Phoenix feels as lackluster as the bear. Or beer, as Alucard
Yeah.
pointed out.
Yeah, Dolphy's got beer rank.
Dragon looks impressive.
Yeah, my only thing is the breath seems to be disjointed from the mouth. If you watch, you'll see. The breath is like off to one side of where the mouth actually is.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of interesting for something that's that prestigious, you know what I mean? So, it is what it is.
That's something that they could fix, though.
Yeah.
That's just a... Yeah, I mean, it's not like Bear where they have to, like, redo it.
Yeah. So, Dragon is definitely great. I was expecting more of a fiery dragon, though, like the Guild Wars 2 type of dragon. I figured that would have been more what we would have seen, like a fiery, snaky dragon as opposed to a lightning dragon. But, I mean, it's cool nonetheless, but I still think Shark is the winner for awesomeness out of all of the rank things.
Aye.
Alright, so next up, this is from Dolphy. This is a world boss schedule timer here. And again,
it's awesome!
Yeah, her stuff is amazing. But yeah, so GW2 world boss schedule, it's pretty crazy and in-depth. So again, I will let you guys play around with this, but as we know, with the feature pack, all the world boss timers were all linked up. So Dolphy has a pretty nice way to go about organizing all these things. There's those chat codes as well. Oh, the waypoint codes. Nice. She even has that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, whether it was her or she got someone put that together for her, it is freaking awesome, because even looking at like the blog post, it felt really confusing and stuff. But that little graph that she made or had made for her, I was using it to figure out where to go so I could try out some of the world events so that I would have something to actually talk about rather than just interrupting you all the time. Yeah, it was awesome. It felt kind of daunting at first because you're like, oh my god, so many dots, but no, it is so awesome.
Yeah. What else we got? Oh, just a quick update. There is a Ready Up live stream tomorrow at noon Pacific time. And they will be talking about updates to the Tournament of Legends and providing commentary on the current World v World season. But first, Grouch is going to be joined by Hey, I don't know how you pronounce it, but she's a local cosplayer to the Seattle area, a part of SeattleCosplay.com, and they'll actually be talking about Guild Wars 2 and cosplay. So that's kind of interesting if that's something that interests you, which it obviously interests me. I'll be checking that out, and if you want to check out SeattleCosplay.com, you can see some of the stuff that the various members there have done. There's a pretty awesome looking Sylvari. There's a really convincing looking Tangled that I saw. Elizabeth from Bioshock. I'm just flipping through this real quick just to see what I think kind of jumps out at me. But the Sylvari one is nuts. The hair looks crazy, all leaf-like. So,
You didn't link it. I can't look at it with you.
Well, I guess I can.
Mean face.
Here is that's Seattle Cosplay.
Okay.
Here's the link for the Ready Up information. But I think I'll just grab one of the and this right here that I just linked.
She actually used silk leaves. I've been thinking of doing that. That's awesome.
So if you check the link that I just posted, that's the link to what they used to make the awesome Sylvari wig. Again, so if Guild Wars 2 cosplay or cosplay in general is your thing, check out SeattleCosplay.com, or specifically check the Ready Up live stream tomorrow. I'm assuming people are going to be dressed up on the live stream, so that would be kind of neat to check out. Alright, Saune, you had some stuff that you posted as well.
Oh, yes, I did. Okay, yeah, so as I sort of mentioned before, I did go on and play a little bit, so I'd have something to talk about rather than just Lag talking the entire time. I tried out Maw, because I heard that they had tweaked some of them and stuff like that. Maw ran pretty much the same as ever.
Okay.
It always did. And those ice storms are still annoyingly targetable. Oh, I hate those. They mess up my auto attack so much. Because they get in the way, I hit them, and now I'm like chasing them around instead of the shaman. Also, Maw is no longer called the Maw. It's called the Saune Shaman in the schedule.
Oh, okay.
I need you people. The Maw, it still runs, but if it's not world event time, you just beat up the dragon totem and then you go home. That's the current usual Maw run, unless it's world event time and then the shaman comes out.
Okay.
I also tried to see what the mega server was all about, because they did post a mega server rollout. I'm gonna see if I link that properly. Just to some of the different maps, more than just the cities. So I tried out Straits of Devastation. Way more people there than there normally is. I only went to like the southern half. Because of the mega server, any waypoint that is contestable will show as contested until you enter the map.
Right.
Which
and that
I'm
goes
actually
for everything, all maps.
Yeah, all maps. Because it's all like based on the instances, right? And I'm actually okay with that, because it means that you're not gonna get totally flattened the moment you land into a map.
Yeah.
So that works for me. There was actually a small, I want to say Zerg, but it was more like a big group of people that just spontaneously formed to start doing the Balthazar events, which in my experience in the past, doing the Northside Escort in order to take on Balthazar was always done in like a Mega Zerg. It was something that was organized, put together as a Mega Zerg, and that was the only time those events got done.
Yeah, typically.
So that's actually really, really awesome to see. I also went to Iron Marshes because I have a gathering route on the northern side of Iron Marshes for hardwood. So I figured I'd see how the mega server affected, one, I'd be wanted the entire map, and two, how it would affect gathering. It scared me at the first half because I wasn't finding nearly as many gathering nodes as I thought I normally did. But when I finished my loop, I had the exact same amount that I generally always have during that loop. So gathering nodes are moving a lot,
Okay. Yeah.
but there's still the same amount.
Okay.
I did come across way more people in Iron Marshes. Like, it was always really rare for me to see a player. Usually any players that I saw were heading to go kill the fire shaman. And there were several of us players that were like hopscotching around each other, like over the entire map, because they were off wandering around and I was doing my gathering work.
Right.
There were a few glitches. I had a visual flicker, like my screen just went white for a moment, as well as a small moment where I couldn't attack. I think I could still use my utility skills because I de-aggroed the raptors somehow. But I couldn't attack for several minutes. It was weird.
Yeah.
I don't understand why, because there wasn't even any events around me. But yeah, but I think that's the whole point of being part of a rollout, is they're looking to see what, because it could have been that at that particular moment, another instance of the map was being made. That could be what it is, and that's why they're doing the phased rollout, is so that they can see what's happening when that kind of stuff happens. And I guess the last point I have written down here was getting any more unidentified dyes. The Mystic Forge recipe is to put in 4 spectrum-specific dyes that you make as a chef. Like, as a chef, you can make, like, unidentified red dye. Well, if you put 4 of those in, you'll get an unidentified dye.
Okay. That's good to know, because there's currently no other way to get those other than buying off the trading post.
Yeah. There's that, the Mystic Forge, and purchasing, whether it's from Laurels or from,
And you can actually get them at a black lion chest as well.
Yeah.
But that's not a guarantee. So you may buy 5 keys and get no dice. You may buy 5 keys and get 10 dice. But that's the gamble you take with black lion chests. But, and again, just in case you had missed the memo, the Gift of Color, which is required for the Bifrost, was dropped from 250 unidentified dyes down to 100.
Yeah, to reflect the new rarity of unidentified dyes.
Right. Well, okay. This may come as a surprise to some of you, but it may also not come as a surprise to some of you. But it is data mining time.
Yay!
I really need to get that sound effect of gathering
data
nodes.
mining time!
I just want to get the tink, tink, tink from in-game, but... Alright. So let me get this back over here. And here we go. So, some fairly interesting stuff came out of this most recent patch. A lot of stuff that was mined was stuff we kind of already had seen. But let's see. There are new mini-pet things, and there is a chat code associated with the one mini-pet, the Mini Mystical Dragon, the Mini Arctidus Cub, Mini Polar Bear Cub, and Mini Orange Kitten. There are 2 new finishers, the Permanent Llama finisher, and the Mystical Dragon finisher. Again, there's a Mini Mystical Dragon and a Mystical Dragon finisher, which I'm imagining are fairly similar, but we'll actually talk on that shortly. Single-use armor skins for, helm, coat, legs, boots, shoulders, and gloves, it says. It's the Lawless set, and Son, I believe you told me that the Lawless armor is in the wardrobe already, so you can preview it there.
Yeah, if you all head to your bank, you can check out any armor skin that you don't have, and you will find Lawless in there. And actually, now that I think about it, I want to point out, in case anyone has not noticed, The difference between the way the PvP locker is set up versus the way the wardrobe is set up, aside from the very obvious it's sorted, it's alphabetical.
Mm-hmm. Well, there is no more PvP locker, in case you didn't know.
Well, yeah. But the way the PvP locker used to be set up is it would be like your starter skins, and then your like level 20 to 40 karma skins, and then your dungeon skins, and then your rares, and then your exotics, and then whatever they happen to tack on the end in the gem store and stuff like that. It just, every time something new got added, it got tacked to the end. Now it's alphabetical.
Okay. Yeah,
that's true. Name.
And again, Alacarlina mentioned that the cubs and things, they could be for Easter again, because last year there was the baby mini pack, which came out right around Easter as well. It's like the baby Moa and all the little baby, all the baby minis came out around this time last year. There are the 3 new skins in the gem store, but we'll talk about those in a little bit. Those are going to be data mined. Some new dyes, I think, were mined, but I feel like some of these may already be in the game. Enameled longevity, enameled longevity, enameled perseverance, enameled solitude, enameled sacrifice, enameled generation, and enameled, oh boy, nemesis? I don't know, the word escapes me, but I believe those are actually new dyes, now that I think about it. There's dye refunds. It says, have an identified dye for each duplicate. Oh, this is the text was mined, but we already knew about that. If you don't know, if you had used a dye on a character and had used it on another character as well, the amount of duplicate dyes that you had used were then refunded back to you in unidentified dyes and sent to you in the mail. There's some UI changes which lead to some interesting things. It says, switch to personal story, switch to living world. So I believe that means they're prepping for Living World Season 2. I mean, we know it was coming, but we don't know how soon. But I guess this is gonna, you know how in the top right corner there's the personal story. If you have a newer character that hasn't completed it, there's like a little green starburst that says like your personal story mission. So I'm thinking that means they're gonna have a way to swap between personal story and living, and living story. But I guess that means that it's getting closer than we thought, potentially.
That's kind of cool though, because I mean, like before it used to be so cluttered because you'd have living story up and your personal story up and anything that was going on in the area and your watch list and stuff. And it's like it was almost getting to the point, depending on how your interface was set up, that your list of stuff that you were watching and whatnot would extend into your map at the bottom corner. Because, like, I know it got pretty darn close, and I used the small interface. So if anyone was using a lower, like a larger interface or lower resolution, yeah.
Yeah. And then there's just one other thing here that says, "We're doomed, Emperor Whiskers," and what that means, I have no idea. So leave that up to that Shaman to come up with interesting things. But there is something that I do want to share, which is the kind of assets that were pulled out of game, and I will show them to you. Oops, that's just the llama finisher. So this is what was shown. This is what the kind of in-game assets that were pulled for the cute llama finisher. But this, and we're not sure whether or not this is the finisher, the mythical dragon finisher, or the mini. But check this out, folks. Look at this thing. This is very clearly looking like a Chinese kind of dragon. So does this mean that this is going to be in the game? Does this mean what used to be Dragon Bash held in Lion's Arch is going to be Canton themed? Is this the more likely, but also very unfortunate if this is the case, that this is something that's only happening in the Chinese version of the game, and we just happen to data mine it, because that would also be upsetting. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But this seems pretty interesting. What are your thoughts on that?
I forgot about the China side of things. I think it'd be really interesting if it actually did have something to do with Dragon Math. It's super long, so I don't think it's a pet or anything. It could be an environmental thing, like a big ass banner or
Well,
something like that.
I mean, the other thing is we can't really tell the scale. I mean, that could be that long, but like really tiny.
Yeah, but I mean, for a mini pet, that's incredibly long. Like all the mini pets seem to be like sort of in the same size.
Hmm.
Like they aren't excessively long. Like that looked like it was great sword long. Like
I don't know. Have you seen the mini snake?
no.
No, it's a little bit. You know, when you move, it slithers, so it's kind of a longer mini pet.
I mean, I
Um,
have the crate, but
I think it was I think it's in the game. I think it was a Series 1, the mini snake. Either that or it was only in the betas and they pulled it. I can't remember. Um,
probably that.
that's possible. Um, but again, Al Carolina says Canton New Year. That would be fantastic if somehow we all of a sudden decided to start celebrating Canton New Year. Which that kind of just reminds me of something because I was playing through on one of my alts recently, and I think it's one of the human if you have like your sister was captured or killed or whatever that
Yeah.
path.
You regret not finding your sister?
Yes, and there's one point where you have a conversation with Logan Thackeray, and it seemingly does nothing to the story at all, but you actually have to pick what's it called? You pick either we're Crichton, we're Canton, or we're Alonin. Like you pick your descent in like this little conversation with Logan Thackeray. But that's it. Like that's all it does. You just pick it and it doesn't affect anything, but that was like one little line.
Hmm.
So I just thought that was interesting. That I remember that being there like way back at launch if you pick that path, but I just
Yeah.
completely forgot about it. And I think that's remnants of because originally they had said that that was going to be one of the one of the character creation options that you can pick because you have like street rat, commoner, noble, and then the other ones are like circus. You never found out about your parents, or like you regret not finding your sister's body or whatever those three are. One of
Yeah.
those was supposed to be originally, are you from Crichton or Escalonian, whatever, Crichton or Tyrion, I guess I'll call it Tyrion, Canton, or Alonin descent. That was what it was originally going to be way back early on, and they changed that.
Hmm.
Which made me think that it may have actually impacted the story at some point. But then again, I mean, you look at things like which god are you in favor with, Balthazar. You pick one, and that doesn't actually do anything for your story.
Well, yeah, your Stern mentor literally does nothing.
Yeah,
It changes which NPC sits in your home instance and says nothing. Like it's not even an interactable NPC.
yeah, and it's just, I mean, the human one, there's not even an interact. Like, there's no negative if you pick Grenth and then you go talk to like Dwayna and like one of the priests of Dwayna. They're not like, ew, get out of here,
Yeah.
Grenthi. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to see that get incorporated, but I feel like that's never gonna happen because it's probably, if it's on the radar, it's like the lowest of the low.
Yeah. And I
So,
have to wonder if they're like worried about different racial type implications about that. Because it's
uh,
like a political nightmare.
potentially. Uh, oh wow, okay. Next up, before we get to the actual news about the feature pack, for our little craft corner, we have and it's funny because we were just talking about Guild Wars 2 cosplay. We have a
Yeah.
Guild Wars 2 cosplay, and this is from Chloe Cosplay, and this is her Air Stagalkin cosplay from PAX last year. So, pretty awesome looking. And the tattoos and everything look accurate. Pretty badass. Probably very hot though, with all the. Actually, no, wait, it's air. Like the whole
No.
side is
That
open, so
that she'd probably have a problem being cold.
yeah. Yeah, actually, yeah, I forgot that your entire like what is it? Your left side of your body is exposed, basically.
Yeah.
So.
And it's made of like thin leather, so.
Yeah. But anyway, so check out Chloe cosplay on DeviantArt. Alright, well that leads us to actually talking about the patch. So, let's talk feature pack. So, first impressions, Saune, what do you think?
Well, aside from my 2 hours of housekeeping, so far so good. I actually really like it. Like I said, or at least hinted at before, there really was a noticeable difference for some of these maps in terms of number of people present. It didn't seem to pack the cities in terms of like RP or anything that I saw or noted. Not yet, anyways. Because I know that was a huge issue with people. Yeah, did the mega server a bit. Yeah, I wish I was exaggerating. It really did take me 2 hours to sort everything, because it was like putting skins in my wardrobe, deciding which skins I would put in my wardrobe and which ones I wouldn't. Because if you have skins, like they're actually skins, not an actual item, to put them into your wardrobe, you either have to use it or destroy it by dragging it into your wardrobe. But if it comes from your wardrobe, it requires a transmutation charge. If it comes from your inventory, it's a free transmutation. So I actually still have a bank tab or so of skins that I'm keeping, just because that's one less transmutation charge I need to use.
Yeah, no, that didn't happen for me. I just, everything, right click, unlock skin, just get it out of my bank.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things that I love that they did is if you go to salvage any piece of armor, it automatically unlocks the skin for you.
Yeah.
Which I think is fantastic, because that they didn't even have to do that, really.
Yeah. Well, that also means that you can collect skins for classes that you aren't necessarily playing.
True.
So, like, I filled in a lot of my heavy armor whilst dealing with, like, one of my Asuras, which is, like, light armor. Other thing is, I noticed I bought some cultural armor, and the moment it hit my inventory, it was unlocked.
Right, because it's account bound as soon as you buy it.
Yeah, and I believe, don't quote, yeah, anytime it becomes soulbound. So same thing with karma stuff, which is not salvageable.
Right.
The moment it's soulbound on acquire, so as you acquire it, it unlocks.
Yeah, and it's really great because you do pick up a lot of blues and greens in your travels. And then if you're not really planning on selling them, but you want to salvage them for the mats and the essences of luck to boost your magic find, just going through and doing that will also unlock those skins, which is probably how I'm going to unlock the majority of those blue and green skins, just because I don't want to actively go hunting for them, because as of right now I'm over 700 skins and I haven't gone looking for anything. So, like, this is just stuff that I have unlocked from my various characters. But, you gotta realize, for me, I have 16 characters. Most of them have gem store related or other, like, higher level armor, which was then transmuted with one for the stats, so then I unlock both of those. So, and then plus everything I've unlocked in PvP, all kind of combines together. So yeah, I'm at about 700. Oh, and by the way, for counting, I guess we should just mention that there is an achievement tied to unlocking skins. The final level is 1,000 skins unlocked, but the town clothes and the outfits as well, those count as skins. So, like, if you have any of the headgear, which becomes wearable skins, like the reading glasses or the sunglasses or the sailor hat or whatever, those actually count as skins, and I think it counts 3 times because you get it for each armor class. So
I thought it was just when it went into your wardrobe that it got counted.
If it unlocks 3 times, I think it counts as 3 skins. I'm not sure how those ones work, although I can't remember. It may just be the one time. But either way, those count as skins. So if you have those, make sure you put them in your inventory and you go and talk to a Black Lion armorsmith and talk to them about town clothes. Because you may have town clothes on your character already and not see them because you won't, and then be like, oh, what happened? Did I just lose them? And you actually have to go and talk to the Black Lion armorsmith. Tell them you want to convert the town clothes. Anything that are skins that would be unlocked are automatically unlocked in your inventory. Any any things that you bought that you can make tonics with, you'll then, like, if you had like the riding clothes or anything like that, you will get the tonics in your inventory as well. And any kind of toys they were holding will also become the consumables. But if you had that on your character, you won't know. Like, it'll just be on your character and you'll never have access to it if you don't go talk to that NPC.
Yeah, so don't freak out. Go talk to the NPC.
Yeah, and make sure you do it for all your characters. Because I know for me, like, sometimes I'd buy a couple of outfits and, like, I'd put, like, a hat on one character just so I didn't have to have it in my inventory, you know? Or I'd put, like, one of the toys on another character just so I could keep stuff out of my bank to keep room. And in the end, I had to go talk to that NPC, like, 10 times to, like, get all of my stuff back.
And the NPC is found in any major city, so not Gendarin, right beside the trading post.
Yep.
You can't miss it.
Yeah, it's
Trust
right by...
me, I tried missing it.
It's right by the arm. You got the weaponsmith for your tickets, and the armorsmith is usually right there. So, wherever those are, probably one of my preferred places Divinity's Reach, just because it's all kind of in that one little room. But I'm guessing it's probably even easier in Radasum because everything's like all together. But Alacarolina brings up a good point in the chat. Go through and create new characters because there are all those unique skins that you can only get as starter armor, like the backpack for the engineer, and the multi-tool backpack. All of the shoulder skins for your guardians and your warriors. You know, the helm, the masks for the mesmer and the necro, and you know, the thief, the hood, and the face mask, and all that kind of stuff. Those are all unique skins that can only be and you can only get them through creating new characters. So you can just go and create the character. Since that's account bound, as soon as you make the character, it shows up in your wardrobe. Delete that character, and then make sure you get all those extra skins. That's gotta be 15 skins.
That's brilliant.
Something like that. So, because I know, for instance, like, I have kept a lot of those skins on my character just because I like them. Like, my warrior actually has the guardian shoulder pads that have, like, the ankh on the side that glows.
Yep.
And I've kept that, you know, all the way through. So, oops. Oh, I do. Yeah. So, just another good fun fact. Thank you, Alacarolina. So what else did they add? Oh, I mean, obviously the wardrobe is huge. You could, I don't know if it has been updated or not. That there were 5 free transmutation charges in the gem store. I think those may have gone away already, though.
Yeah, those should have gone away already. They were supposed to.
Yeah, so you could get 5. You also get 1 for each rank in PvP that you have. So make sure you go in and log into PvP, because that will also get you your PvP rank related transmutation charges. So if you're rank 10, you have 10 charges. But you have to actually go into PvP also to have all of the stuff that was in your locker get unlocked in your wardrobe. And if you have a lot of stuff like I did, you could just literally sit there and watch things just tick for like forever in your corner. Or you could just leave and then they'll all be done.
Depending on how much time you have.
Yeah. Also make sure you log into each character, because the world experience has been combined for world versus world, and you need to log into each character to have that compile.
Into World v World, or just
into the game? Just into the game,
okay.
Yeah. So I know I went from a max rank of 70 on one character to 135 from combining all my characters across, so that was pretty cool for me. because I don't really World v World that much. But what's great is you have all of those World v World rank points to put in all the various tiers of things in World v World, and it's
Mhm.
specific to the character. So as a rank 135 character, I have 135 points to put in things, but I can put that
Mm.
135 points and spread those out over all my characters differently, which is great because that means like if I want to have this character as like my RAM expert and he's got all the points in RAM mastery, and this one has them all in, you know, trebuchet mastery or whatever. I mean, obviously, if you're high enough up in rank, you can just have all of them unlocked on all your characters, but that's not the case for everyone.
Yeah.
So, you know, it is kind of cool to have like a specialist, like, oh, I'll switch to my RAM specialist and come over here and you know, that way we can knock
Ram things.
knock the gates down faster. Um, or like this one's my supply runner or whatever. Um, so that was one of the small things they did to World v World. There wasn't a whole lot. That was like the big World v World thing. I don't think there was much else they added for World versus World. Yeah, I think that was basically it for that. Let's move on. Let's see. What else we got here? Oh, PvP. If you guys don't PvP, now's a pretty good time to get into it because you'll pop in, you'll have whatever skins you had on your character in PvE when you go to PvP. Just make sure you keep an eye on your traits though, because because mine got all wonky when I did that. But at the top of the screen there'll be a PvP build window, which if you
Mhm.
open, you'll be able to do your whole build in there, and it takes like no time at all compared to what it used to be. The most time you'll probably spend is setting up your skins with the wardrobe. Um, so that's super easy. There was a lot of changes to the. I mean, we're not going to talk about sigils and runes because the changes were extensive to every rune and every sigil, but it allows for a lot more interesting things in PvP. But the biggest thing for you PvE people out there is the reward tracks, which are based on the amount of rank points you get, which, if you don't know, completing objectives, killing enemies, getting like top scorer, top capper, whatever in PvP earns you rank points. And if you play in a team tournament and you win the match, you usually get about 1,500. I think it might be static, 1,500 rank points. Um, so when you're in your 20s, it's about 7,000 rank points or so to the next level. But each time you get rank points, it ticks up this bar on the bottom that gets you towards these reward tracks. And right now, there are 3 available. One is the Balthazar Backpack reward skin, which when you hit max level, which I think is tier 8, I think, out of all of these, that gets you the unique, only attainable this way Balthazar back piece, which is similar to the like in the vein of the Gw2 one and the Grenth one that we had the Ascended back piece recipes for that we got not that long ago. And as you go though, you'll be unlocking. There's like 8 stages where there's like a big reward, and then there are like little rewards in between. So like for instance, I got like 2 champion loot bags was the first step. So each one of those has, I believe, 5 in it. So you have 8 tiers with 5 mini rewards within each for a total of 40 rewards you can earn. And the one I got just
Mhm.
last night was a transmutation charge for free.
Nice.
Just play PvP. Number 2 out of 40 is a transmutation charge. But this you can get like destroyer, like you can get the slivers and the fragments and stuff like that. You can get obsidian shards. You can get mystic clovers. All the stuff you would need to make a legendary. You can now obtain almost all of those minus world completion and your badges from PvP. You can post all those. You can get all those from PvP.
Yeah, I was really happy, even though I'm not a PvPer, when they did talk about that in the posts, because it really removes the whole you're a PvPer versus PvEer.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, now any time that I spend in PvP is not wasted in terms of anything that I might have been working towards in PvE. They're the same.
Yeah.
They're just different. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, there's also the dungeon tracks as well, which stay around about 2 weeks, and as you go through, you can unlock weapons and tokens and eventually armor and things from that dungeon. And there's also regional ones as well, which are tied to, like, there's a Kryta one, an Ascalon one, and those unlock like champion loot bags and weapon skins and things that would only be attainable from things in like those specific regions, like champ bags from Kryta and champ bags from Ascalon. What's cool about the dungeon one is normally it's on a 2-week cycle, but if you go in now post patch and beat the story mode of the dungeon, you have that dungeon track unlock and it's redoable, but it's always there, so you don't have to wait for the rotation. So if you go through and do the story mode of all 8 dungeons, then you'll have all 8 dungeons available to you whenever you want, and those are, I think, repeatable, so you can continue to tick stuff off. And Alcardalina mentioned apparently that the Balthazar backpack is sellable, apparently, so you can buy it on the trading post, which kind of defeats the purpose of that. And that may be an oversight by the devs, and that may get patched. So,
yeah, I wouldn't expect that to last very long.
But my thoughts are that this Balthazar backpiece thing is like a temporary thing. Like, it's going to be here for a while, but eventually that title track is going to be replaced with something new as, like, living story and things go forward. So I'm not saying that you probably need to go out and get it tomorrow, but the statistics from the person who posted on Reddit said it takes about 400 hours or so. I mean, if you're really, really good and you're winning every single match, it'll probably go a little bit faster.
So it's probably something that they'll switch out like quarterly or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if, like I said, if you're winning every match, and you can actually get points towards this using a custom arena as well, if you have a custom arena in PvP. However, I've heard that it maxes out at 2 tiers. I remember I told you there was 8 tiers total. I heard that it maxes out at 2 tiers in per day in a custom arena. So you can't do all of them there, but custom arena means you can invite certain people, you can lock people out, and you can set the specifics of how you want to fight. So you could probably go through this faster, but you can only do it
you can
a
basically throw your fights to get the points you need.
Yeah, so I mean, theoretically, if you spend enough time, you could do that in 4 days if you can, go that way. So that's something. And while we're talking about PvP, one of the big things that was kind of just snuck out under the radar. I mean, it was there if you looked for it, but there's a brand new. They retired Raid on the Capricorn, which was the only map that had like underwater, like a large chunk of underwater combat as part of the map itself. There was a whole cap point underwater, and they just retired that map entirely, so you can no longer play it. And they have removed underwater anything from PvP at all. There's no more underwater combat. There's no slots for underwater weapons anymore. You're just straight on land all the time.
Yeah, and they're never going to bring it back either.
Yep.
They're just all like, nope.
But they did add a new map, which I feel like, again, more promotion, but it kind of was like on the forums. And what sucks, though, is it's only available in custom arenas. So if you have one, you can do this. And what's crazy is it's a smaller map, but it's deathmatch only. Which, for those of you who don't know, currently the only way to play PvP is in the
capture mode?
Yeah, there's a word for it. Conquest is what they call it. Where there are 3 nodes, and the way you win is you stand in these areas and you cap it. And, for each node or each area you cap, you gain 1 point every 2 seconds for a maximum of 3 points every 2 seconds. And that's just kind of how it is. When it hits 500, if you're in a standard match, then you win the match. You also get points for killing people, but it's only like 5 points per kill. Unless some of the other maps where you can get like bonuses to kills and stuff. But this is only deathmatch, and you get 25 points per kill. So you can set up a pure deathmatch only map. And this would be actually probably pretty good for your custom arenas to get the title track. Just go in there because the matches will end a lot faster, and this would be easier to throw to get your points.
Mhm.
But yeah, it just seems like it kind of wasn't very well put out. Like they didn't really mention it a lot. It was just kind of there, and if you knew about it, you knew about it. But I think it'd definitely make for some interesting stuff, like the tournament things, like the Mistpedia, and those kind of not
Mhm.
official but kind of official tournaments. Not like the Tournament of Legends, but
Yeah.
just to make for
Uh,
good streaming as well, I would think.
yeah, the broadcasted ones, basically.
hmm And again, like we mentioned before, they tweaked the ranking system. So, for instance, I got 50 achievement points because I finished. I had so many rank points to get me to wherever I was rank wise prior to the patch, and because of the way they shifted the rank points down, I actually got a whole new achievement, which was worth 50 points. So that was
Nice.
kind of neat. But yeah, it went from a total of 8.9 million to get dragon rank down to 1.1 million. So big changes in the way that was calculated. Um, again, we talked about the account-wide die unlocks. It'll still pop up as if you want to use transmutation charges. Like that's how the little UI bug, well not bug, but the little way the UI pops up when you're using dies. But it's free; it doesn't cost you anything to use dies.
Yeah.
I super like it though because you can like preview stuff, like click the die, apply it to your armor, and then like see what it looks like on your whole set of armor. Even if you're like testing out new stuff via the wardrobe, new armor, and then new dies,
Yeah.
and then you can just be like, oh, I don't like that, and click reset and start all over again.
Well, yeah, especially because like how much a dye job can really affect how well mismatching armor melds together. Because like I've seen
Yeah.
some stuff and it's like this is butt ugly, this is horrible, these will never work together. But then someone just puts that right combo of dyes on, because I mean like you can't throw Robin blue on everything from every set. Sometimes you have to get a slightly different shade of blue because of the way the dye takes
Yep.
to make it look like it's the same color. But people who actually get them matched up, like it can be so fantastic.
Carolina also mentioned glory has been. She mentioned this is a good point. Glory has been completely removed from the game. There is no more glory. If you didn't spend any of your glory, you're out of luck because it's all gone. And in the wallet where glory icon used to be, has now been replaced with transmutation charges. So you can check that real quick if you don't want to go into the wardrobe to see how many you have. You just hit H and go to your wallet, and it'll list them out. Again, you can, if you have transmutation stones or transmutation crystals, you can just double click those or hit use, right click and use to have them be added to your bank of transmutation charges. Unfortunately though, you have to double click each one to use it. There's no go to NPC, convert all of these into, it doesn't work like that. So if you were like me and you had 500 transmutation crystals, you had to click 1,000 times to double click each one, which was, I probably should have just set up a macro and just clicked and walked away, but I'll do things.
And then you get kicked for botting.
Yeah, so I didn't want that to happen, so I just kind of left that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and you have to go to all your characters and collect up all your little transmutation stones. I know I had some scattered around to all my new little newbie characters.
And what sucks is I had 4 transmutation stones, so I used 3, and I have 1 that I can do nothing with.
Oh, I got super lucky and I had exactly the right number.
Wow. I guess I'll just have to live with that and just delete that one. We did discuss the mega server rollout earlier on, so we're not going to really talk about that too much. But to your point about the adjustments to the maw, we did mention this when the feature pack was coming out, but again, all of the bosses now have a fail mechanic, so if you're not there, you don't activate, or you don't complete it in time, they will fail. So just keep that in mind.
A lot of them, it's you actually have to keep the NPC up.
Yeah.
If the NPC goes down, for Maw, if the NPC is down for more than 5 minutes, it's a fail. So you can't just ditch them on the ground like everyone usually does.
Yeah.
So.
Let's see. Again, they mentioned, and we mentioned this last time, there is the unlockable guild world events, for which Chronicles of
Mhm.
Tyria is currently researching, and it may be done. I haven't been in game to check. But it costs 50,000 influence and 100 merits to unlock guild, like guild world events, and then the consumable itself costs 10,000 influence and 20 merits, and you can store up a maximum of 3. It takes 24 hours to build one, and its cooldown is 45 minutes. So I don't know if Chronicles of Tyria will actually be using these that often, but we will have some. So if you're looking for a guild to join, we are actually reworking after this weekend, after the feature pack has come and kind of been through here. We
Settled.
will be settled would be the word I'm looking for. Um, we'll be restructuring some of the stuff on our forums. I already started the work on my website I'm sorry, on the Chronicles of Tyria website rather, to restructure some things to make things easier to find and remove some kind of legacy things. And we'll be opening up opening up recruitment, as it were. What are you doing, puppy? You are silly. Rolling around on the ground. Yeah, I know. You are just a silly girl. What are you laughing at?
I'm sorry, it's just because of the Twitch and
I
there's
know.
a Skype delay. It's just you aren't looking at anyone and you're doing the baby dog voice and it's like
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess that. Yeah.
Our big fearless boss right there. Right there.
Mm. And other than that, there were some bug fixes. There was that whole change to from critical damage to ferocity. So that was an interesting change, and there was a boost to all the celestial gear, which worked out well for me because I'm actually in pretty good shape since I had Runes of Divinity.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of all the different little hot patches and stuff,
Mhm.
just to point out for the Grandmaster traits, the ones that you have to hunt down,
Mhm.
that originally talked. This is from today's hot
Yep.
patch notes. You used to have to go to like Grenth or it was either Melandra's Temple or Dwayna. It used to read capture, but it's been switched to defend or capture. So either one of those events.
Okay. Yeah, that was like you said. That was the one that just came out not that long ago, right?
Yeah.
Um. Let's see. Anything else? Again, lots of changes to sigils and runes. Um, if you
Yeah.
go to the patch notes, they actually have all the adjustments. Um, if you've actually looked close to some of these, you could have made some money, if you had known which were going to be which at the end of, before it started. The runes of the crate are actually pretty ridiculous now. I don't know if you've looked into those at all. I may be switching to them on one of my other characters.
Yeah, I only have Sinnes and Cyan
Mhm.
really traded out or set up for anything. So I looked at my toughness, and the rune, like my toughness runes for Sinnes, and the rune that I really, really wanted before, I really, really, really want now. So there's much dredge in my future.
Yeah.
And Cyan I run Divinity. Celestial and Divinity. So
Gotcha.
she's
Yeah.
super holy. Although I might run a second set because I got my stalwart.
Oh, your armor.
My armor. I finally got my armor. That stupid stalwart set that was like only in PvP.
PvP, yeah.
Well, yeah, now it's in PvE, and I will make an outfit for it.
Yeah, the runes of the crate. Just because I mentioned them, the stuff that happens before the capstone 6 ability is pretty good. But listen to this, right? For 6 runes, plus 20% bleeding duration, and whenever you use an elite skill, you inflict bleeding, torment, and poison for 8 seconds to all nearby foes. So if you imagine that on a thief with something like traded down Basilisk Venom, which is on a 45-second cooldown.
That's exactly what I was just thinking. I didn't want to have to spend a whole bunch of money getting more Divinity runes, and I think you just solved my problem.
Yeah, well, it's 25 Condi damage, 10% bleeding duration, 50 Condi damage, plus 15% bleeding duration, and then 25% chance when hit to inflict the bleeding for 10 seconds, then 100 Condi damage, and then again that plus 20% bleeding duration, and whenever you use your elite, you inflict bleeding, torment, and poison for 8 seconds. I may be testing this out on my ranger in PvP because I run a Condi spec, and I have been using Runes of the Forge just because it's like when you get hit below X percentage, you get protection to make myself a little bit more tanky. But this may be a better call because compared with the new rune, I'm sorry, with the new trait, whenever I use a survival skill, I cleanse 2 conditions and also gain fury. And the elite that I use is a survival skill, so it would just make things ridiculous. So, but yeah, I think that was more or less the main adjustments. Obviously, there was the whole trait point thing as well. I guess we should mention you don't unlock traits now until you hit level 30. And then so
on new characters made after this point.
True, but I haven't checked. Have you checked? I have some level 20 characters that were made prior. Do they still have regular ways to go about it, or do I have like because I didn't hit?
Oh,
that I don't know.
Right, it's only the notes only ever specified the unlocking of the Grandmaster traits being grandfathered.
Yeah, so I don't know about the. I'll have to check after this, and we can talk about it next week just to see what a level 20 character has with the adept the adept book. Do I then have to wait till 60, to get the master tier and to do my trait points get all screwy? Because right now, whenever you spend a trait point, you are each, one trait point in the new system equals 5 trait points from the old system. So, you get 1 at 30, 1 at 36, 1 at 42, 1 at 48, 1 at 54, 1 at 60, then 2 at 66, 2 at 72, 2 at 78, and then 2 at 80. So that's a total of 14 points to give you basically 30, 30, 10 like you used to have.
Yeah.
They've assured us that they've balanced the enemies in the level 11 to 79 areas so that they match up to the fact that you don't have all the traits that you would have normally. Again, like we said, you can use the new trait quests to go out and unlock traits, or you can buy them. Adept level traits are 10 silver and 2 skill points. Master tier traits are 50 silver and 5 skill points. To unlock the current Grandmaster, it's 1 gold, 50 silver, and 10 skill points. And to unlock the new ones, if you want to buy them rather than questing for them, it's 3 gold and 20 skill points to unlock. So, it's a little bit pricey, but it's a good gold sink for the game, I think.
I think it's fair because, yeah, like you said, it's a gold sink. The new ones are being more expensive than the old ones makes sense to me. Encouraging people to actually try the new stuff before they go just buying their way out of it.
True.
I mean, it's so much easier just to go do the event than it is to just go buy your stuff.
My only problem with it is, if from what I read is correct, the whatever, like, let's say it's your third trait line, right? So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The third one down, whatever the thing to unlock the new Grandmaster, whatever that quest is, it's the same across all professions. Which I think that's how that works. Which, if you ask me, is a really cop-out way. Like, you made this so, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but, you went to this level to make this awesome new system, and then you kind of just, cop out at the end.
Okay, so, anyone who wants, line 2, number 13 is going to the Grenth Temple.
Yep.
Yeah.
All professions, the same thing.
Yeah.
Which I guess is good if you have a group of buddies and you all are like, oh, let's go unlock this new Grandmaster trait. But it'd be really cool if, the Ranger one was in one place and the Thief one was somewhere else, while the Ellie's was somewhere else. and that way, like, it made it more like Guild Wars 1, which is kind of the vein of what they were doing this in. Whereas, you know, in Guild Wars 1, to cap an elite skill, you needed a Signet of Capture, and you needed to kill a boss that used that skill. And since almost every boss only had one elite skill, it was like whatever skill you wanted specifically, you needed to go to that specific boss. Like, I couldn't go to the same one as you and get the same skill because he only had one skill. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, I wouldn't mind, like, similar style, traits being at the same place. You know, like, poisoning or something to do with condition damage all happen at Grant.
Right.
So
yeah, sure.
maybe like a guardian, a thief, and a necro can gain their grand trait from the same task. Yeah, but yeah, having them all kind of does seem like a bit of a
Yeah, so it's regardless of what the trait is, you know, lines you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for your 5 new grandmasters. Whatever the one is for the top one, it's the same location for all 8 professions, and so on and so forth. I don't know about the lesser traits, but based on the fact that the hardest to get ones are all in the same place, I'm gonna assume that it's the same for all the lower level ones.
The lesser traits are found in superior chests, so a lot of the mini dungeons, or possibly even jumping puzzles as well, is how you get those, I'm guessing. Not confirmed yet. But yeah.
Tori G, our local and resident wall master, just posted up here in the chat. Design paradigm to not split up players / divide friends prevented what you were talking about was going to be for skill points pre-beta. And Alice says it would have been cool to have related classes to their gods have to be those respective events, but she brings up that Thomas Engine, my created god of engineers, is not in the game, so there's no place for engineers to go. And again, Rancidia says, what I'm implying sounds cool, but having a unique event for every trait in the game and any new ones seems a bit much. Well, again, to your point, they didn't have to do this. Like, this was something they completely made up out of the blue and no one was expecting. They could have held off on this a little bit longer and made that possible. I mean, they did it for hundreds of skills in Guild Wars 1, and I realize it was a different game, but, I mean, in that game, the bosses had their own professions, and, like, I mean, there were thousands upon thousands of skills in that game, and, you know, I knew I had to go kill this boss, you know, to get this skill, and that worked out. But, I mean, I can complain all I want about it now, and it's not going to change anything, but I just feel like, you know, rather than everybody having to go to ore to find the chest inside the one ship in, whatever that place is, they'll find the Cursed Shore, you know, to get that skill, which just, again, it doesn't make sense to me why that would be the case, but whatever. You know what, it's still cool, it's better than what we had, which was nothing other than buying things, so I'm happy with what they did. Do I wish they could have tweaked it a little bit to make it, you know, more unique? Yes. But you know what? Maybe when they if they ever bring in new professions or new Grandmaster skills, they'll have learned from, you know, this time and they'll make it different. Or maybe they'll have something, you know, we had heard a long time ago about new elite skills that never came into the game, and those may have been fake or real, who knows. Maybe they'll do something similar to that with new skills in the game, rather than just, like, saving up 25 skill points. You can save up 25 skill points, or you can go do this whatever, talk to this NPC. You know what I mean? I think that would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, they could just very well be testing the reception waters with this. Just seeing, hey, do they like hunting down these? Well, okay, maybe we'll look at making the next ones. I mean, because the thing is I'd be willing to hunt down for more of the intermediate traits. Like, it doesn't even have to be Grandmaster.
Yeah. Straits of Devastation is apparently where the Ship of Sorrow is. Sorry, I haven't... thank you for the correction and chat. I actually haven't been to Ore in about a year. So...
Yeah.
Since whenever they updated the Grent event the last time to make it, like, much harder, where you get teleported up in the air and you fall down and die. So that was before That was like before champ events got like changed around. That was, oh, you know what it was? It was before like world event chests were only like once a day, like way back. That was the last time I went to war. So
I thought world event chests were once a day.
they didn't used to be.
Oh,
Like you used to be able to do it a bunch of times in a day. Like you could just bounce between all of the world events and just keep doing it, and you'd get the daily rewards. Well, they weren't daily; they were just rewards at that point. Now they're daily rewards. But again, a long time ago.
So, buying new runes and no, runes and sigils are still acquirable all the same way that they used to be.
This may be for PvP though, possibly. Because that's something I should mention. There are new runes and new sigils in PvP now as well.
Right.
That were not part of the core set, and those you do have to unlock, I think, via skill points. I don't remember the exact metric to unlock them, but I feel like there is no way to earn those in PvP other than just flat out buying them.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So there is, as far as I know, there's no like there's no PvE mechanic to unlock these PvP items, or even like a reward track things. Yeah, and there's Cavalier and Magi amulets as well. So yeah. And I guess the last little things, little updates, Black Lion transmutation charges and crystals. Our transmutation charges now drop out of Black Lion chests. Crystals are obviously removed. A lot of bug fixes, some balance stuff. But the other thing that I guess I do want to mention, which was kind of a surprise to me, and I'll paste the link here, was the new armor skins that they just kind of threw out there. That just came into the gem store. What do you think about these new armor skins?
I love the pieces of them.
Okay.
The heavy looks really, really weird, but I know that there's a number of rough, gruff-looking armor textures in the game, so it's great. People will have something to match those with. So that's easily take-partable. The light armor, the bottoms look so weird. I haven't figured out a way to utilize the bottoms in a way that just... It's like someone wore a skirt and then just put a pair of slacks on underneath. Like, not leggings, slacks. Like a pair of jeans.
Welcome to the 80s, bro. My sweatshirt tied around my waist. That's what's up.
Yeah, but I'm talking like... a pair of jeans underneath a summer dress.
Hey, I mean, stranger things have happened, but I get your point.
Yeah. The top, it looked really, really, really messed up on my human. Looked great on my Sylvari.
I haven't really played around with different races on these, because I bought all three, because I shouldn't have bought the heavy armor one, because I actually hate it. But like I just got caught up in the moment because I saw the other two and I was like, oh my god, I need all of these.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they just tricked me.
Yeah, no, I love those the shoulder pieces for the light. That's great. The shoes. Those are
There's my wife. Sorry.
It was a false alarm earlier.
Yeah. Just being a dog, barking and stuff.
The top, definitely I find it pairs best with clothing, like the embroidered pants, and anything that had like a very not rigid waist. Pairs up great with them. I am trying and failing miserably to not buy the medium. I love those pants. I want those pants. I want to find a way to use those pants.
I love the medium top. It's awesome. And the mask, I don't know why, but it's like that scorpion style from Mortal Kombat mask. I don't know. I love it.
Okay, yeah, see, I didn't like the mask. I found it sits too low on the face and just, it's weird because it's just like touching the tip of the nose and that's like it.
That's why I like it. I don't know why. I like that better.
Yeah. Again, you've already heard my very sorry state of gamerhood. I never really played Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
that's
most of the
okay. I
games
made a
were like
character that looks like Sheik from Legend of Zelda, so that mask works very well. If I could only have a
that.
bandana as well. Unfortunately, there's not anything that doesn't look too weird that looks like that. But that top works great to pretend to be Sheik, because there's like, I can make white things and like purple, but
Yeah. Yeah, no, I really like that top. Um, those shoulders are weird though. They are
yeah.
just so big and just like on the very edge of the shoulders. Like you gotta wear shoulder pads to wear those shoulders. Like
hmm
they're not me. They're totally not me for sure.
I didn't notice, but is the heavy armor stand? Or am I like, if I wear that, am I Bane or Batman? Because that's pretty much what that kind of looks like in that picture. I haven't really played around in game. Maybe I'm okay with it now if I can be Bane. Tyria is yours. But anyway, uh, yeah. So,
Yeah.
couple of little things before we kind of close this out because it's getting a little bit long here.
Yeah.
Why don't you explain your drawing to the
Okay.
folks? So,
Yeah, apparently it's becoming a thing now for me to draw stuff from Let's Lore. So definitely watch the upcoming Let's Lore episode to truly understand why I'm drawing a char licking itself, grooming itself. Um, that literally comes out from our conversation. Um, it wasn't even like Lag challenging me to it this time. It was like literally like I gotta draw that.
hmm
I'm thinking of drawing that, and then everyone else in the group is all like, "You should draw that," and I was all like, "I was already thinking about drawing that." So yes, it's how to groom or char bathe.
hmm
They are giant kitties after all.
Yeah, we talked about running around in the tar in
Yeah.
Ascalon, post-searing Ascalon. So this is what happened. Um, but more importantly, again, tomorrow, the Let's Lore that we recorded earlier this week, which has Casey as a part of the team, will be coming out tomorrow, and the one that has this lovely piece of art inspired by it will also, it's one and the same. So be sure to check that out when it comes live tomorrow, probably around 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. Um, and then lastly, before we go, there's going to be a new series coming out, which, from what I hear, could be recorded as early as next week. We haven't come up with an official name for it, although my tentative name is Lag and the Ladies, because that's what I'm
Of
calling it.
COT.
Of COT, whatever, fine. But we actually are thinking, a bunch of us, 5 of us to be exact, myself included, and Saune, are thinking of doing a Let's Play of Guild Wars 2, now that the game has fundamentally changed quite a bit, with the not unlocking traits till you hit 30, and regardless of all my complaints before, the going through missions to unlock traits, and these little trait quests and things like that. So we want to play through the effectively new Guild Wars 2, and explore all the different parts of the personal story, and because it's been so long since I've done any personal story with any kind of significant interest in it. So it'd be cool to kind of show off things as we go through. Plus, we'll have Alcardalina with us, who does all of the things in the Guild Wars 1 Let's Play and goes, you can find this in Guild Wars 2 here. And now we're just going to do it in the inverse. And she'll be like, you can find this in Guild Wars 1 here. So, that'll potentially be coming out sometime next week. We haven't really figured out the release schedule for that. But be on the lookout for that, because I want to just bombard you guys with so much content that you won't be able to keep us out of your mind. Just be Chronicles of Tyria every day, something new, whether it's a webcomic or a podcast or a Let's Lore or a Guild Wars 2 Let's Play. And there's even another thing that I'm working on that may be coming out soon, so as soon as I can get a commitment from other people for that. So, with that, all the news that we just dropped on you guys, I think we'll probably bring this to a close. Do you have anything that,
I got nothing to add.
Okay. Well then.
Potential question of the week, maybe?
Fire away.
Drawing suggestions?
Alright. Well, Saune is always looking for suggestions. The Let's Lore usually populates a lot of them just because funny jokes come up in that.
That is true.
And if this Guild Wars 2 Let's Play really does get off the ground, I can only imagine what will come from that.
True.
But yeah, send your submissions to... why don't you send them to comic@chroniclesoteria.com, because that's the webcomic email, which Saune will be able to get directly. So if you have drawing suggestions, send them to comic@chroniclesoteria.com. And here's something. This is a personal endeavor myself, not Chronicles of Tyria related, but I'm gonna see if you guys can help me out. So this is actually a formal question of the week. I will give prizes and gold, and maybe even bring the spinner back if I find it on my desktop. But I am part of and founder of a cosplay group that I run with a couple of my friends, and the name of it is COS, C-O-S, and Effect. And Al Carlina has an idea, so we'll get to that in a second. And we need a logo. We need like a cool logo based off of the name COS and Effect. So I'm posting the email in the chat here for the comic one, so that Al Carlina can send an idea. Chronicle.
Okay.
So there you go. That's I'm sorry to switch gears real quick. Comic@chroniclesoteria.com. That is the email I just posted to send Saune drawing ideas. And again, I have a cosplay group called COS and Effect, and we need a logo, like a cool design for a logo. Even if you just come up with ideas, and then I can formulate that into a logo. Again, this is a personal thing for me entirely, and I feel a little bad asking people on Chronicles of Tyria for help with a personal endeavor, but I'm kind of drawing short on ideas. Maybe it's because I'm pulled so many different which ways working on other stuff. But let me know if you guys come up with a good idea, and I'll send you some gold if you do. So there you go. Saune, do you have anything else to add? And I will bring this to a close.
I think I've done enough damage.
Well, alright then, folks. Thank you all for watching for the 92nd episode of the Chronicles of Tyria podcast. I am lagywn.
And I am Saune.
And we will see you next time. The drums, but it's actually more of an electronic keyboard than a drums. Oh, the girl gets me every time.